What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the trading world. Today is August 18th, 2025. It was a No News Monday. And guys, my eyes are getting better. If you guys don't know, I was feeling sick last week. Had some issues with my eyes. They got super red and it wasn't good, but got some medicine for it and they're healing up. So that's all good. But anyway, let's talk about price action today. Today was a No News Monday. And yeah, very much so seek and destroy conditions. If you guys don't know what that is, right? Seek and destroy is when the market will go for old highs in the market, and then it will go back for old lows, and then go back again for old highs, and then go back again for old lows, right? And you'll get this type of thing a lot on days where you're not going to expect expansion, like a day like today, which is a No News Monday. So, something I like to say about No News Mondays, most people just say do not trade them at all, and that is perfectly fair if that aligns with your view of the market. For me, right, it's possible to take trades, but you just have to understand that the lower time frames are going to rule. If the medium time frame is consolidating, the lower time frame is still going to run liquidity. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean and how I use this to take a trade. Hit 2-1, but then I got my runners trailed out. And yeah, we're going to be going over everything in detail. So, like I said, we go up in the morning. We go right after market open. We go up straight for what? What was the draw on liquidity right in the morning? And I was talking about this on stream that I wanted to see these low resistance highs get hit. Unfortunately, they went and got hit like almost instantly before I could even really get an entry. So there was not really opportunity for me here. Now maybe one of you guys caught an opportunity. We did hold this 1 minute gap here. Maybe you guys saw something. For me, I didn't see anything to go take this low resistance liquidity out. We get our first presented for value gap right here, and I'm going to talk about something about this first presented for value gap in just a second. But you can see this ends up getting rejected here later on, and that's going to be a very interesting trade later on, which I actually almost took on stream. I need to actually pull up the stream because I actually do want to show you guys how close I was to taking that trade. What I was thinking is you want to align, I guess I'll just talk about it now, right? With the first presented for value gap, right? Since it's a 1 minute key level, 1 minute PD array, if you don't know, PD array is basically a fancy way of saying a key level. And the reason it's PD is because it could either be a premium key level or a discount key level, right? And so for any kind of key level in the market, you are going to want to have that paired with a certain time frame. So if it's a 1 hour key level, you want to align that with a 5 minute change state delivery. If it's a 15-minute key level, you're going to want to align it with a 1 minute change state delivery. Most of you guys already know this, but I'm just going over this for anyone who's just now watching this for the first time. And so you can get all the pairings right here. And if you don't know what change state delivery is, go watch the video on change state delivery. But anyway, what's cool about the first presented for value gap is it's still a key level. It's still a PD array. It's a 1 minute PD array. So we can align that with the 5 second. And guys, I was so close to taking it. The only reason I didn't is because, as you guys know, like 5 second time frame, it's kind of freaky. But here's how this trade would have worked out, right? You can see we pop up into the first presented for value gap, and you don't do anything right away. But then once we get that sweep and then that 5 minute change state delivery, that's your entry, right? When we get this 5 minute candle body close below here. And the reason you could have conviction in this is because look at all these low resistance lows here. So this is a model that it's one of my models. So far I've made 2 models. This is one of my models I've created. I call it the first strike, which is specifically a 5 second change state delivery off of the first presented for value gap, and it can be, hit at any point later on, right? But it needs to make sense in the context of the draw and liquidity, and the reason this one made sense is because, well, look at these low resistance lows, right? We know the market's seek and destroy conditions, so we know it's going to go from old highs back down to where? Old lows, right? So we go up to old highs, we come back down to old lows, and we do that over and over again. Actually, out of curiosity, I want to see if there was an overnight gap. I actually have no idea. Yeah, so there wasn't really an overnight gap. So once again, guys, this was a day where there wasn't really a way to have that great of a bias. It was more or less just like, hey, today is a no news Monday. We're probably going to chop around. We're probably not going to get anything great. So lower time frames are going to rule, and we have to remember that. And I'll go over the trade that I took in a second, but first, I want to talk about something within here, right? This reversal right here was off of actually a 5-minute key level, right? You can look over to the left on the chart. What do you see? You see a 5-minute fair value gap here. So this 5-minute fair value gap might have been a 15-minute fair value gap, actually. Yeah. So this 15-minute fair value gap we pushed back up into, and then we end up getting a 1-minute change of state of delivery right here, right? You see that? So here's that old 15-minute gap. We sweep out all of these highs. Specifically, this is a really good high, right? Very obvious liquidity sweep. So what are our requirements for flow state? We need a key level, a liquidity sweep, and a change in state of delivery on the aligned time frame, and that is it, right? And so you can see we get that aligned time frame change state delivery here. So one could just enter right on the retest the change state delivery. That is literally flow state, right? Just entering on the retest the change state delivery, and then you could target that LRLR. That would be 1R. But personally, right, I'm not going to be a sheep, right? I'm not going to be dumb money. I'm going to actually like think about what's going on here, right? And what's going on is we might want to push into this change state delivery a little bit. And now I wasn't sure, but I wasn't going to take this because the RR is just not there, right? It didn't make sense for me to take a 1-to-1 flow state in seek and destroy conditions. That didn't make sense. But then later on, what I noticed is, you guys may remember me talking about this in prior videos, is a lot of the time we will back test the optimal the OTE. If you guys don't know, that's the 0.6, the 0.7, and I think it's like 0.79, 0.61, 0.705. It's something like that, right? And it's here, I'll just pull it up real quick. It's 0.79, 0.705, and 0.62. That region of price is going to be very sensitive of the flow state model, right? And also just in general, right? But specifically, what I've noticed is if you measure out that manipulation leg, OTE of that manipulation leg is going to be very, very sensitive. And this is a model that this is my other model that I made. I call it the sniper model, and you basically you take a normal flow state trade, but instead of entering right on the change state delivery, you enter at OTE of this manipulation leg here, right? You enter at OTE of the manipulation leg of the flow state trade, and you'll note that with taking it like this, targeting the LRLR, this was 4-to-1, and you might be like, no one's actually realistically going to catch that. That's just not realistic. Well, guys, I hate to break it to you, but I took this on demo, right? It's kind of funny. I'm gonna show you guys real quick, right? Let's watch this real quick because I think this is kind of cool. I really do. See if I can find it. Here it is. So I'll also show the other one other trade. Officially gone below. See if I can find it. 7:30. Wondering. Okay, here it is. Watch this, guys. This is crazy. And then we'll wrap up this video with the trade I took. But yeah, hopefully this won't be too much longer. But
how we'll respond.
I just
to
want
that.
to show this because right. So what am I doing here? I've mapped out this model, right? I've marked out that 15-minute gap. I marked out that we got a 1-minute change state delivery, and now I'm watching. Okay, we're back testing that optimal trade entry. So watch this.
Another thing I'm curious about is, whoops. We could get the boomerang. Remember when we have the first center for value gap?
I changed the name already. I'm calling it first strike now. I was gonna call it boomerang, but that name's dumb.
We look for 5-second change state delivery. So dropping down to the 5-second, right?
Okay, we missed it. I already took it on. So you can see I have that trade mapped out. I already put the limit order in. See, okay, here we go.
Demo. Once again, this one's on demo.
So there you go. I put that limit order in right there to go target those low resistance lows. And then watch this, right? That ends up hitting TP. Let's see if we can find it. There you go, right there. So you see how OTE within a flow state model is going to be very sensitive, especially when there's a good draw on liquidity. Use this to your advantage, guys. You can get very high RR trades entering off of OTE of these flow state models. Once again, what is flow state? Higher time frame key level. So PD array. PD array means key level, liquidity sweep, and then align time frame change in state of delivery. So if it's a 1 hour gap, a 5-minute change state delivery, a 4 hour gap, a 15-minute change state delivery, a daily gap, a 1 hour change state delivery, you get the point, right? Every key type of key level has an aligned time frame change in state of delivery. The optimal trade entry OTE of that manipulation leg is going to be super sensitive. So keep that in mind. But then also, right, I want to show you this other one, right? Once again, same thing I was just showing you, right? That first presented for value gap, I was saying this is probably going to be very sensitive.
Whoops.
You can actually see, I was actually pretty close to taking this. I was I wanted to take it, but I knew that on the 5-second chart is too soon to make a high quality decision. But watch me talk right here.
Yeah, we're getting it.
Watch.
I just want to look for SMT first. Or there's bearish SMT with that high.
So there we go, right? I got the SMT as confirmation, and now we're getting 5-second change state delivery off the first presented for value gap, just to show you guys that these things are things that I saw in the markets in live time. It's possible to catch these. It's not no news Mondays impossible to trade. It's understand the conditions, trade those conditions respectively. And other people, that's one of the biggest lies in trading is everyone's going to say, oh, it's impossible to trade a no news Monday. No, it's you have to understand what is happening, right? Medium and the higher time frame are chopping around. Micro time frame is running liquidity, right? And watch this.
So I might try this. What is this? Nine times 7. I don't know. 5-second change state delivery. We have SMT. I should have just done it. I should have done it.
And then the rest was history. You guys can remember what happened after that, right? We went straight down to go run those low resistance lows. And then finally, we'll talk about the trade that I actually took. Hopefully, this won't be too much longer, but the trade I actually took was, once again, we were back out, and once again, knowing it's seek and destroy conditions, well, actually, at the time, I thought the bias was more bullish because we were within a few higher time frame bullish key levels. But in hindsight, this is obviously seek and destroy conditions and a no news Monday. And what my thought process was we're gonna need to pull up the SMTs real quick for a second, just so I can show you what I was thinking. So look right here. You can see that there was S&T with this low here. Right here, there was S&T with S&P 500. And then right here, there was S&T on NQ. So S&P is making a higher low. NASDAQ is making a lower low. Okay, so that was the S&T that I used. And then from here, right, look at this graph. Look at this chart, right? This is obviously a giant, just a giant range, right? We sweep out the lows of that range very clearly right here. And actually, we sweep out that low as well. So just a giant liquidity sweep. And then once we got this amazing pop off that off of this low, I knew light bulb, right? Because this is once again, if you guys don't know what the 2022 model is, you want to see three things: liquidity sweep, right? So a pop off an old high or a pop off an old low. Displacement, which means just aggressive candle closures in the opposite direction, which is also could be called a break of structure, right? Meaning a candle body close above an old high. And then you want to see retracement into a fair value gap. And, well, we have a fair value gap right here. So I already saw this as a 2022 model. From here, basically, a lot of the time, the 2022 model and flow state are going to overlap with each other, like almost all the time. So here was the trade I took, right? We had that giant range, right? We got S&T with that low. We popped off of it. We broke this high. At this point, right, my eyes go to, so we had a 15-minute key level, right, at the bottom here. You can't really see it, but we had a 15-minute key level. It was a 15-minute rejection block. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I keep coughing so much. And I can show you that real quick so you guys actually know what I'm talking about. We had a 15-minute rejection block. I guess it was here. I guess you could use this one, actually. Either one of these work, right? So here's 15-minute rejection block. Yeah, I would use that one. So 15-minute rejection block. S&P holds that rejection block. NASDAQ sweeps that rejection block. Then we get 1 minute change of state delivery here. You could have entered on the close of this 1 minute change of state delivery here. I did not see that, but this will also be an inverse fair value gap, right? See how we inverse this, but because of this external gap here, this gap, I honestly just didn't really want to take that. But then once we get this retracement back to equilibrium, right, from this low to this high of this displacement, I knew, okay, right, this is exactly what we want to see. And so essentially, right, we hit this 1 minute change of state delivery, and you see how sensitive this was, right? This 1 minute change of state delivery was the exact low, and then we run up to where? Perfectly, we run up to the second standard deviation, which is aligned with those low resistance highs. And so that was my trade from the 1 minute change of state delivery to the second standard deviation. That was it. That was all it was, right? Once again, 15-minute key level. I marked it out wrong on here, but it was that 15-minute rejection block, and then 1 minute change of state delivery retest up to the second standard deviation, which aligned with those low resistance highs. And that was it. It was just 15-minute key level, which was a rejection block, liquidity sweep, 1 minute change of state delivery, and then we go up to the second standard deviation, and don't believe I took it. Well, there it is, right here, bang. So anyway, I don't want to keep this going on for too much longer, but thought I would at least make this video. And yeah, with that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.